What's the crack, everyone? It's Ollie from B2B Sports here. The Minnesota Vikings are on a roll. 7 wins in a row now. We beat the Chicago Bears 30-12. It was one of those games, again, where the Vikings probably didn't play at their best. They probably didn't play 4 full quarters of football, but they did enough. They did enough against Caleb Williams and the Bears. U.S Bank Stadium was loud and proud with the whiteout, the winter whiteout. That looked great in the stands, watching from home. As a UK fan, I watched the game on DAZN Game Pass, and it was just a weird start to the game. The game was recorded in, I think it was Spanish commentary to begin with. I don't know if any other UK fans had that problem. The Vikings defence stepped up yet again. There's some massive plays, some 2 huge 4th down stops. The Bears were going nowhere on 3rd and long either. They really just dominated for the majority of the evening and then allowed the offence to get some points on the board late on in the game. But as always, before we jump into the nitty-gritty details, I'd be much appreciated if you could whack the like button on this video. Give my channel a subscription. It means the world. We're 5 subscribers away from this 50 subscribers target that I set myself. It would mean the world if you were to hit that. Reporting on sports is my absolute passion, and I would love to do this as a career one day. So yeah, much love guys, thank you very much. The first quarter was action packed. You had the big 4th and 2 stop by Josh Metellus. We had a bit of a wasted opportunity on offence, but Will Right guard nailed a 52-yarder. He looks well and truly back to his usual self. Early on, there were already signs that there were big opportunities for this Minnesota Vikings defence to go after Caleb Williams. He just seems to hold on to the ball way too long, and that would drive him mad if I was a Chicago Bears fan. He seems to dilly-dally in the pocket, trying to wait for the perfect opportunity, and he sort of surpasses some good reads and good options from his wide receivers, and ultimately goes down or has to throw the ball out of play. And that one big hit for the Vikings defence happened in the first quarter. Jonathan Grenard got to Caleb Williams, strip sack, forced fumble in the end, and then Blake Cashman scoops up the ball with great field possession for the Vikings. Brian O'Neill seemed to be in and out of the game through injury. It looked quite bad on the replay when you first saw it, but I think Kevin O'Connell after the game has confirmed that he's all good. No structural damage, no damage to that knee, and he should be ready to roll for this 3-game important stretch, which is absolutely vital for the Vikings, considering that they've already lost Darashaw, and Cam Robson had an absolute stinker today. I think it was 4 penalties on him in the game. He sort of had one of these games, I think, against the Jags as well. He sort of, once he picks up one penalty, he sort of gets himself into a rut and sort of goes on a roll with penalties. He needs to sort of pick himself out of that hole, because wasn't a good showing from Cameron Robinson today at all. The inevitable JJ touchdown happened, and he shouted to the camera, "We love you, Randy." And yeah, big props and prayers go out to Randy Moss. He's going through a bit of a cancer battle at the moment. So yeah, peace and love, Randy. Peace and love. But it was nice to see JJ show respects to one of the Minnesota Vikings greats. Surprisingly, there was a JJ drop, and he looked like it was a certain touchdown, but he dropped the ball. He had eyes on the end zone, I think, in that celebration. Very unusual for JJ to do that, but we'll let him slide. We'll let him have that one. But in the second quarter, this is where the offense started to slow down, started to falter. We seemed to rely on our defense a little bit more heavily. Sam Darnold threw a pretty bad interception in the end. Should have took the field goal points. In terms of the location of the pitch, it wasn't the worst place to turn over the football. But yes, in the big game, in the playoff scenario, you've got to take the points all day long there. There was some sloppy flags, some sloppy penalties from both sides throughout the game. Sherfield running into the kicker was one of those. Bears keep possession of the football. Yeah, you can't be having that. DeAndre Swift was a bit of a problem throughout the game. Are you concerned about the Minnesota Vikings run defense? They've conceded quite a lot of rushing yards in the past couple of games. The Falcons went to work last week, and DeAndre Swift had a good game today. Just something to consider, I think. in the postseason, if we were to get the Eagles, Saquon Barkley is playing out of this world right now, and that's something we need to work on and plug up that hole. I thought DeMarcus Walker was a problem all game long for Sam Darnold. He seemed to constantly be the sole cause of the collapsed pocket, and was after Darnold for the majority of the game. Hockenson stepped up again today. He's missed the third down. He's Mr. Reliable when you need him, and right guard with another field goal to make it 13-0 at the end of the second quarter. Again, the Vikings offense got off to a slow start in the third quarter. I think they were back-to-back 3-and-outs. A couple of wayward passes from Darnold, and he looked a little bit out of sync in that third quarter. I think going quick tempo in the huddle, I think that really does quite help out Sam Darnold when he's a little bit out of sync. It seems to catch the opposition defenses off guard, and he seems to be able to get out of this funk and move the chains and sort of refocus on the next play rather than sort of thinking too much about it and sort of throwing a couple of wayward passes or trying to hold on to the ball too long and taking a sack. The Bears had a bit of a comical moment in the red zone. Swift ran into the end zone, a rushing TD, but it got called back with an ineligible player on the pitch. He didn't opt in. We've seen that before this season with Skipper with the Lions. They got pushed back. I think they had another penalty as well. And they were forced to take a field goal in the end. Although there was a potential missed face mask call. It looked pretty obvious on the replay. The refs have got to get on top of this in the off season. We've seen way too many calls like this go amiss this season. In particular, the Sam Darnold call. I think it was against the Rams, but the Vikings got away with one there, and they did well to drive down the field and punch in a touchdown through Aaron Jones. I like to see Aaron Jones getting back into the swing of things with these touchdowns and doing the bank vault. I just think that's a great celebration to bring with him and to put his own twist and turn it into the U.S Bank style. The fourth quarter yet again was pretty sloppy. I mean, I'm not going to lie, this game seemed to go on for an absolute age. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, it seemed to be one hell of a long game. The constant flags, the penalties, the punts just seemed to drag out this game no end. Caleb Williams was doing his best to try and create a meme highlight reel, just jumping all over the gaff, trying to extend the play and eventually throwing it out of bounds. A big pass interference call on Addison in the end zone set up a valuable and well-earned Cam Akers rushing TD, and he gives the ball straight to Garrett Bradbury, who sort of helped marshal him into the end zone. I kind of like that bit of respect from Akers. I think he's an underrated and valuable member of this team. There was a block punt towards the end of the game. Ryan Wright just seems to get absolutely snapped and sort of awkwardly lands. I think he was okay in the end, but yeah, it just seemed a bit of a tough landing. Shout out Dallas Turner, by the way. I'm so happy for you. Got a key sack on Caleb Williams in the end. Just love to see him slowly get more reps, more work into this Minnesota Vikings defense. And I think he can be really, really pivotal into the sort of latter stage of the game when the Vikings are needing an extra bit of emphasis on that pass rush. We can't solely rely on Jonathan Grenard all the time, and it's nice to see a big physical body in there like Dallas Turner get to the quarterback. Yeah, I'm just rooting for him. I'm rooting for him this season, and I genuinely believe he will become one of the stars in the NFL in years to come. The Bears were unsuccessful on a 2-point conversion. The Vikings recovered the onside kick and then a 46-yard field goal from right guard to close the game to finish 12-30. That's 12-2 now for the Vikings. We're in prime position now. We're on the same record as the Detroit Lions. We're on the same record as the Philadelphia Eagles. We've got 3 huge games now to close the season. We've got the Seahawks away from home. We've got the Green Bay Packers at U.S Bank Stadium, and then we've got the Detroit Lions in Week 18 at Ford Field. 3 huge games to decide the fate of the Minnesota Vikings in the postseason. The Detroit Lions have big injuries. I think Montgomery went down and potentially has an MCL injury, which could rule him out for the rest of the season. They've got some big injuries on defense, and they are there for the taking. I wouldn't be surprised if they has potential another slip-up or two there. They've been far and out the best team from the NFL for the majority of the season, but injuries in the NFL are such a pivotal part of this game, And when you lose a couple of key players, we know the Vikings went through it last season. When you lose a couple of key players, your season starts to fall apart. The Eagles are looking strong. Saquon Barkley is in with a shout with the MVP, although Josh Allen is absolutely phenomenal as well. But they are looking really, really good. But if the Vikings win out, I think on strength of schedule, the Vikings will be the number 1 seed. And that is absolutely crucial in the postseason. Obviously, you get a bye in the wildcard round, and then you play the remaining games at home until you get to the Super Bowl neutral site. This is just an incredible year to be a Vikings fan. This is a transitional year. Let me just remind you, this is a transitional year with the bridge quarterback in Sam Darnold. It's just absolutely bonkers. This season isn't done yet, though. I was worried in this Monday Night Football game, having heard the news that we've already secured a playoff spot. I was worried that they wouldn't quite be up to it, but they got the win, they got the dub, and yeah, this is where the real tough part of the season really starts. But yes, Vikings fans, let us know your thoughts down below. What is going to be the end of season outcome for the Minnesota Vikings? 1 seed, NFC North champions, or are we going to take 2nd place and that 5th seed spot? But thank you for watching and listening. I really appreciate it. You guys are the absolute best. SKOL Vikes, and let's go.